Good morning, everyone. Thank you for those who have joined us promptly this morning. Hopefully it's slightly sunnier wherever you are, because it's very grey where I am. But hey, we're going to be sharing some great news today. But we're going to give it probably another minute just to let a few people just join us, those who are running to their laptops realizing it's 9 a.m. already. So we'll just give it a minute or so, but for those who have already joined, can I just check that you can hear me? So in the usual fashion, on the right-hand side, you should have a chat function. If you could let me know in the chat function that you can hear me clearly.
Interestingly, Joe, I can hear you loud and clear, but I'm getting nothing coming through the chat function. So no. If you are out there and you can hear it, could you just let us know?
I've got a good few hands raised now.
Yeah, coming through now. Yeah, loud and clear. Lovely. We've got you. Thank goodness for that.
Fantastic. It's always that heart-beating moment, isn't there, Karen, where you just think, is the technology working this morning? Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah.
We've had a great week technology-wise so far, so fingers crossed for this one.
I do love technology, but it always gives you those little heart flutters, especially this time in the morning. But yeah, lots of function. Thank you. Some wonderful messages coming through there. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful. Okay, well, I call that it's a couple of minutes after 9, so let's crack on with the show, or with the update, I should call it. So good morning to everyone. Welcome to today's quarterly update. It's January 2021. Can't believe it's already January, and what a year we started with. But before I go any further, just a few quick introductions first, or actually what I'm going to start with is just a few opening housekeeping items. So as usual, today will be recorded, and we will be sharing the recording and the slides with you. So don't worry, sit comfortably, listen to all of our updates that we have for you today, and as in the usual fashion, we will have question and answers at the end. So please do throughout, do post your questions. You will hear from all of us, so we won't be able to answer the questions as we go through, but we will answer the questions at the end. So please do post your questions in the usual fashion. Today we've got an hour, so we will finish by 10 o'clock, so not too long, but hopefully long enough for us to give you some key updates as we are right now. But first things, introductions. So we have our usual speakers. Hopefully you all recognize our faces and names by now. But just in case you are new, or this is the first time that you are joining our update, my name is Joseph Valentine. I'm the industry manager here at ILM, and you can contact me there. And I'm really pleased to be joined also by Jill Hanson and Karen Egan, who are both our fantastic technical advisors. And again, you have our contact details there. So you'll be hearing from all of us today. We've got some key updates to cover today. But moving forward onto the agenda, we're going to start with our latest lockdown update, and Karen Egan is going to cover that for us. Some really important updates for you, especially as we move through this latest lockdown. It's really important that we share some key updates with you. Jill is then going to cover some key information around qualification delivery and assessment, especially during this lockdown period. So some really key insights that Jill is going to share. I'm then going to give you a short update on the ILM assessment service. And then I'll pass back to Karen and Jill, who's going to pick up on our apprenticeship and EPA updates. Again, some key updates there, and some exciting breaking news actually. So stick with us. And then finally, I'm going to share our latest research with you. Hopefully you've already seen a lot of information, but I'm just going to place a spotlight on that. And then we'll finish with our usual reminder of our upcoming events, and then our question and answer session. So that's it from me. I am now going to swiftly hand over to Karen.
Thanks very much, Joe. Can I just check you can hear me? My New Year's resolution is to stop talking while my microphone is on mute. So that's something that hopefully I'm doing now.
You're committed. You're doing it well. I can hear you clearly.
Thank you. Apparently one of my colleagues, because he works in Wales, has actually learnt to say you're on mute in Welsh, because it's such a common phrase that we need to use these days. Could you give me the next slide, Joe? That's lovely. So we just wanted to say today that you know, it's tough times at the minute. It's tough for all of us, but we are very much open for business. All of our offices are closed at the moment. We're exploring how we can open them, of course, but all of our employees are working safely at home. But that doesn't mean that you can't contact us. We are very much open for business. We're very lucky in the terms that for the ILM portfolio, it's a very flexible portfolio in how it can be delivered and assessed. And we found that quite a lot of our centres are being able to continue their delivery, and we are supporting you all the way to enable that to happen. Now, you know, there are some areas where we've introduced some mitigations, and I'll share those with you. And I'm just going to share with you some of the digital support that we've got that can further help you to continue that delivery while we get ourselves out of this current situation. So over to the next slide, Joe. So in terms of mitigations, if you work across City and Guilds, you know that a lot of the sector areas have got some significant mitigations that have to be put in place by the very nature of their programmes. The only qualification that is affected in terms of the ILM portfolio is the diploma for managers. And that's the qualification, just in case you're not aware, is that that we've designed to fit within the team leader supervisor standard apprenticeship. So the only reason that that has got a mitigation is because the qualification requires an online evolve test for those unit components that are identified on the slide there. We've got some information where you can actually undertake that remotely. We've got lots of further information. We've shared this with you before, so this isn't new. This is already in place. So if you want some more information on that, there are some links here. We'll be getting these slides out to you just as soon as we can after the presentation today. And we've got an adaptation guide there as well to just give you the full information about what you need to do, how you need to set it up with us, and how you can take that forward. And that will enable those evolve tests to continue while your learners are on programme, and it won't sort of delay things. So the next slide, Joe. So over the summer, we did an awful lot of work around looking at digital solutions right across the business, and we did some great work around ILM. We did offer free digital resources over the summer, so hopefully you took some great advantage of those. They're still available at a charge now, but we do recognise that sort of going digital is really where we need to be, and I guess we all had it on our agenda, but it wasn't quite something that we were sort of pushing forward. But obviously, you know, if we can take a positive from the situation we're in at the moment, it's actually pushed all of those sort of technical agendas forward. So and we recognise this isn't just about taking your slide deck and putting it online and expecting the interaction to be the same as in the classroom. It has to be a much more blended and sort of interactive approach, rather than just, you know, like a presentation that we're doing for you today. So next slide, Jo. So this is something that we are just launching now called Portfolio Plus. It meets your needs in terms of that increased digital provision. It actually has pre-packaged learning resources, so that you've got all of your content online. It's a complete digital offer, so it has that sort of interaction with the tutor on board. We focused it initially on some of the ILM qualifications that have AEB funding attached to them. So if that's your world, then this will give you the opportunity to offer these programs more virtually. You know, it's very modern looking. It's not just sort of online. There are ebooks, videos, e-learning, lots of visuals around there as well. So next slide, Jo. So these are the 3 qualifications that we've got available at the moment, and that's growing. I've been asked to look at some more content just this week, so it's an ever-growing portfolio in this area. So they're preloaded courses, and as we've got there, it's the Level 2 award and the Level 2 certificate in leadership and team skills. We've got 20 units. I think there's about 40 odd units in there, but we've got 20 that we've developed so far. And the other one is the Level 2 award for young leaders, and we've got the 3 units in there. That's it's a much tighter qualification there, but we've got that in there as well. So next slide, Jo. So if that sort of whetted your appetite, my colleague Sarah Cooksedge, who is one of the digital solutions managers, and myself are running about a 45-minute webinar on the 22nd of January. I think that's a week on Friday, isn't it? Just to give you a more in-depth look at that. So the webinars are free, obviously, and there's a link here on the screen for you to go straight to the registration page to book your place. So we're quite excited about this. This is our first sort of real step into looking into the VRQs and offering a sort of digital platform for that. So so come and join us on the 22nd. So next slide, Jo. These are just very quickly to remind. Oh, one back. One back, Jo. That's it. So just a reminder, on the apprenticeship side, we've still got Get to Gateway. We've updated it as the new assessment plans have come on board for level 3 and 5. That's now been updated. I don't think we're quite launching level 5 yet for new learners for the new assessment plan, but that's coming on within days. So we're working hard to get that, and that's a really popular product that we're offering to our apprenticeship teams. And now the next slide, Jo. And of course, we've got our what we call Illuminate Workbooks, and that contains all of the same content in terms of knowledge on Get to Gateway, but just in a sort of PDF document. They're writable PDFs, so that that you can either put them up onto your own platforms or work sort of in that sort of sending them the PDFs to complete. So they're all available to you to just help you to keep going, to keep that interaction going while you're working with your learners remotely. So I think that's my last slide, Jo, is it, for this bit? Yes. Okay, so over to you, Jill.
Thanks, Karen. Can I have the next slide then, Jo, please? Thank you. So as Karen was just talking about then, online delivery has proved really successful for a lot of you. And you've told us that you're using a variety of platforms and, you know, you're each finding your own blend of how you chunk the sessions up, having regular breaks, shorter sessions, using breakout rooms, etc. And as far as we're concerned, that's great. There are no rules about the delivery. You just need to be mindful, and I've had, you know, several conversations with people about this, about the guided learning hours. So as you know, all of our units have got guided learning hours for delivery, and you do need to still meet the guided learning hours, but you don't have to, you know, do it in the same way as you did before, because obviously, as I've just said, when you're online, people don't want to spend 6 hours online. So it's just about, you know, making sure that you can show to your EQA, your external verifier in old money, how you've put the delivery plan together that shows that you've delivered the programme to the guided learning hours, but differently. So, you know, you spent 2 hours maybe in front of them, and then you set them some particular specific activities. So what are the activities that they've been carrying out outside of the sessions to make up those guided learning hours? And you don't have to go to the minute, you know, but it does need to show how you've met it. And remembering that the guided learning hours, it does need to be specific reading or a workbook completion. It's not about sending them off to do independent reading or research. So your EQA will want to see how you've adapted your learning journey, but we don't need to approve it. You just need to tell us how you did it. Tell us how you wanted to do it and whether it works. That's just fantastic. In terms of assessment, as Karen said earlier, all of our assessments can easily be submitted electronically, and they usually are as a matter of course, and they can be assessed remotely. Ofqual haven't agreed to any adaptations or mitigations other than the one that Karen mentioned for the level 3 diploma for managers. So all the assessment criteria does need to be met as usual. And I know we have had, in a couple of cases, questions about, oh, could we be a bit more lenient about that? Could we just drop that little bit? No, that's not possible. So Ofqual haven't agreed to any adaptations or mitigations. And to be fair, we've not suggested any, particularly because our assessments are capable of being submitted electronically and worked on remotely. So they are very flexible. And that's not just a result of the pandemic, you know, they've always been like that. And it's always within your gift to put forward an alternative assessment vehicle to meet your learners' requirements. So you can ask for a change of assessment. You can say, I don't want them to do a written piece of work. I would like them to do a video or a professional discussion or a blog or whatever. You can present the proposal for a change of assessment, however you wish to do that, but you do need to do that in advance. So if you want to take advantage of that, and as I say, it's not a new thing, it's a process we've always had in place, but it might be more relevant to you now, you just need to contact your quality team, who will be able to give you the form, and then they will make sure that that gets through the approval process. So you should know the contact number for your quality team. If not, contact your EQA. Either way, it's just important that you get through to the to that change of assessment form if that's something that you want to do. So as I said, all your learner work should be submitted electronically anyway. This is to allow for internal and external verification to take place. And that's, again, not just at the moment, that's a default position for us, really. We do expect that it is submitted, and that work should only really be submitted hard copy in really exceptional circumstances. And I know there are some, and that's fine, but it shouldn't be the default position, really. So our external verification will continue to be undertaken remotely for the foreseeable future. And I know that generally you would have at least one face-to-face visit in the year. And hopefully at some point this year you'll get that. But the majority was undertaken remotely in terms of sampling anyway. And that will continue for the safety of everyone. But it will allow your learners to still be certificated as soon as it's reasonably possible following the completion of the qualification. So there's no need for the fact that it's been remote to really hold up your learners in getting the certification. And again, just to reiterate finally that none of this is specifically as a result of the pandemic. Online and blended delivery and remote assessment and verification has been around for a while, and to be honest is likely to stay for many of us, really. If you've got any questions, please do get in touch with either your EQA or your quality team, or of course Karen or I. Okay, thank you for that, Joe.
Thank you, Jill. I think there's some fantastic updates there from both Karen and Jill. And just to remind you, we will be sharing these slides with you. So in the next few days. So don't worry if you've missed any bits, and of course the recording. But thank you, Jill and Karen. Jill and Karen will be giving some more updates in a few minutes. But just a quick update from me on the ILM assessment service. So most of you, or if you joined us at our last quarterly update, you will have heard me talk about some of the changes that we've been undertaking with our ILM service. But for those who are not completely familiar, our ILM service is essentially a marking service for some of our most popular ILM qualifications, including leadership and management from levels 2 to 5 and coaching and mentoring. And essentially what we offer our approved centres is the ability to outsource the assessments. And we see that a lot with customers who really want to focus on the teaching and the delivery of the learning and want to be able to outsource the marking and the assessment process to us at ILM. So we have a full system, an online portal where you can submit learners' assessments once completed, and then an allocated trained assessor will then undertake that assessment of those assessment materials that you've submitted. The great thing is that we've been doing a lot of work to update a lot of our guidance, a lot of our information, and you will have heard me say last time that we have now a new service delivery owner, Charlotte, and Charlotte has been working relentlessly to really look at the whole assessment service, the end-to-end assessment service. And one of the key things that I wanted to update you on today is that we have now updated our web page with all of our assessors. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try and click a link and go to our website so you can see who's who. And this is where I'm going to ask Karen and Jill to let me know if they can see the website now. Is that
yes,
coming?
We can.
Wonderful.
Yeah, got it.
Brilliant, thank you both. Okay, so this is our assessment page, which you can find under Assessments and Resources in the ILM Assessment Service. But the one thing I just want to point out is that we've now added Meet the Team. And so what you can see here is a short profile for each of our team members. And so you can see who is sitting behind the service, and we really do have an exceptional group of assessors that sit in the assessment team. So please do click through on that link on the slides, or if you're familiar with this web page, do take a look. We've got some great people, and you can obviously see who they are. But also what we have also added is there are some hints and tips at the bottom as well. Just something short and concise, but obviously we will be building on that and sharing more information with you about the ILM assessment service, but also hints and tips around assessment, etc. So do have a look at that new content on that web page and meet the team. So I'm hopefully going to try and get back to the PowerPoint. Can I just check, Karen, Jill, can you see the PowerPoint again?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Well, my final note before I hand back to Karen is, if you have any questions about the ILM assessment service, then please use those contact details that you can see on the screen now to reach out to us and ask any questions that you have regarding the ILM assessment service. But I know that Karen and Jill will also, if you're in contact with either Karen or Jill, equally be able to help with any questions. But please do use those contact details, and our team will get back to you with any information. So at that point, I will hand back to Karen.
Thanks, Joe. So just a quick update on what's going on in the apprenticeship world. Before I do that, I have an apology to make because I'm always complaining about how much we use acronyms. And Richard, thank you for asking the question, has said, Karen, what's AEB? So I do apologise. AEB is Adult Education Budget. So it's government funding to fund a specific set of qualifications. So I do apologise for that, and lesson learnt, make sure you're not using acronyms in the future. Having said that, I'm just about to talk about apprenticeship, so and that's full of acronyms. So let's go and see how I get on. So Joe, next slide. So I just wondered, Joe, I was nervous when you clicked onto the website, but you managed to get us back. So maybe we can have a quick look at this. I'm going to cover just team leader. Not a lot to say here, other than in June, the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education, IFATE, they published the new assessment plan for team leader supervisor. That's well up and running now. That's we're running the version 1 and the version 2 in tandem, and we'll continue to do those until the learners who are on the version 1 of the assessment plan naturally complete and finish their apprenticeship. So that's all business as usual now. And on the operations departmental manager, that's our level 5 apprenticeship. The IFATE introduced that on the 21st of October. So we've been running a series of webinars later in the year to sort of get you ready, tell us, tell you where we're at and what we're doing and when. And tomorrow is when we are open for business for our very first registration for the operations manager. Now, just to say what we mean by registration, this is the registration for endpoint assessment. So we anticipate that we're quite a way from our first actual EPA for operations managers, because if you just follow the natural flow that IFATE expects learners to take, is anyone who started on or after the 21st of October started their apprenticeship will follow the new assessment plan. And as you're probably aware, the level 5 is probably a good 2-year apprenticeship, 18 months to 2 years. So naturally we're probably somewhere away from it, but there is the option to switch. The knowledge, skills and behaviours haven't changed. It's how they're assessed that's changed. So, you know, there may be some coming through that say, actually, I'm looking at this and I think this is a better option for my learners, and they will take it forward. We are ready if that's what you want to do. So I don't know how we're doing. I think we're okay time-wise, Joe. Do you want to click on one of those links? I do that with trepidation if it was me, because I wouldn't be able to get you back to the slide deck.
Well, let's go for it. Let's do a
You've done it once now, so you can do it again.
I'm confident. Let's get thinking. Right, should now see it. So
this is a link to our website. I won't go into any of the details, but maybe Joe, if you just scroll down a little bit, and it gives you really everything that you need to know. Just a little bit further. Just a little, is it frozen on you?
Is it back?
It's gone too far. I just wanted to show where you've got the different versions of the different.
There you go. Hopefully it'll catch up in a couple of seconds.
It's frozen on me. Anyway, trust me, it does it. There you go. There you go. So from tomorrow, what you will see there is Team Leader version 2, version 1, and then you'll see Operations Manager version 1, version 2 from tomorrow. So all of that information will be sitting there for you. So on that note, while you get back to the slide deck, Joe, I'll hand over to Jill.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah, so again, just a quick update about the 2 higher levels. So the Chartered Manager, CMDA Apprenticeship, as you know, and I've kept saying all year, the review is on hold. The review is on hold while we do the Senior Leader. We have been told now that the review will pick up in February. So we will have our first meeting of the Trailblazer group again in February to pick up on that review and see where that takes us. In terms of the Senior Leader, we have breaking news. I think if it's on the next slide, hopefully, Joe. So yesterday, the day before, the 11th it was, actually that's gone quick. IFATE announced that they have an implementation date for the new Senior Leader Apprenticeship Standard and Assessment Plan. So what they've said is from the 29th of March, that new plan and standard will be implemented. So any new starts, anybody signing their ILR on or after the 29th of March will be on the new version. So on the page that Karen's just shown you, eventually we'll have also a version 2 of the Senior Leader. Joe and I yesterday quickly pulled together a little bit of information, recorded a podcast, which we're going to get out on social media and we're going to put on the website very shortly so that you can have a look at that. But what we are planning to do is a webinar on the 16th of February where we will share a lot more detail. We'll tell you where we're up to with the customer guidance packs and the documentation and anything else that you need to know if you're interested in starting to deliver that apprenticeship at that high level, because the significant thing for a lot of you is that the master's degree has been taken out. So it's not a mandatory qualification any longer. So anybody that can deliver a level 7 qualification would be able to deliver the apprenticeship. Get yourself on the ROTAP if you're not already on it. Or, you know, if you already deliver the level 5 apprenticeship and were, you know, just prevented from delivering the level 7 because of that master's degree element, it's an opportunity for you now to move into that space. So in the meantime, before we do give you all of our details on the 16th of February, you can access the standard and the assessment plan on the IFATE website, and I've put a link directly to it on there for you when you get your slides through. So great news, finally it's here, and it's an opportunity for more of you to move into that market. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Jill and Karen. I think some fantastic news there, especially with the new Senior Leader Apprenticeship Standard. And I would just echo everything that both Karen and Jill have said, but please do join us on the 16th of February, even if it's just to find out more about the Senior Leader. It might not be something that you're doing right now, but I'd highly recommend joining us and finding out more about that. It's a big change, and it does provide more opportunities for more providers, so please do join us. But thank you, Jill. Okay, moving forward, so we want you've probably already seen, if you follow us on LinkedIn or any of our social media channels, you will have seen that we launched back in early December. I think it was the 7th of December, if my memory serves me right. We launched our latest research, Leading Through Challenging Times. So due to all of the challenges that obviously we can see we're experiencing across the UK and across the globe, we felt it was poignant to undertake a piece of research. We worked with an external independent research company who did the research for us on our behalf, and we have now produced this report. And it very much reveals the need for leaders and managers to be better equipped to lead through times of crisis. So I highly recommend downloading this report. It's free. You can literally just download. Please do. It's really thought-provoking. There are recommendations in there. And what you can see on the screen now are just some snippets from the report. They are also on our web page. So when you click either of those links on this slide, will take you through to our web page where you've got more information, and there are also some quotes as well, some references from some of the employers that took part in the research. So some really thought-provoking data, some hard data in this report, and also some very clear recommendations. So not only is it hugely poignant for us, it's extremely important that we think about some of those recommendations, especially as all of us, in everything that we do, we are championing leadership and management, and I think this is a really poignant piece of research. So please do check out that, download the report, and share it to everybody you think it's relevant for. So do check out, click those links. Okay, conscious of time, so I'm going to ferry through my last few slides before we reach the Q&A. So this is just a reminder to say that we do have our usual quarterly updates, and you can see the dates there, and there's a link to take you through to our events page in the usual way. Please do join us at our next quarterly updates. Our next one is April the 22nd, usual time, 9 o'clock. So we look forward to you joining us at that update. I'm sure a lot will have happened by the time we get to April, so I'm sure we'll have some key updates for you. And then finally, we also have a number of other key webinars. All of these are free. So the next is the ILM Funding and Policy webinar with Bryony Kingsland, who's our Head of Funding and Policy. Bryony will be giving some really key updates. A lot is changing in our world, and a lot is still to change, and we're obviously waiting for the latest FE white paper. So it might be we have that, but I suspect it won't be. But we do have a number of other key updates. So please do join Bryony on the 26th of January for some really key updates specifically for ILM. The next is the day after, the 27th of January, and we have a really powerful webinar planned. What is impactful leadership in a virtual world? So this is one of our webinars, our thought leadership webinars, We held a number last year, and this is the continued series of that thought webinar series. So please join us. We've got some fantastic presenters and business leaders joining us there. So join us on the 27th. And then the last one you can see on your screen there is the same that Jill has shared on the 16th of February. Join us for our senior leader update on what's new and the timescales. So those are our next upcoming webinars, and there are others. So keep your eyes peeled on the events page. So before we move into Q&A, just one final reminder. So the Institute of Leadership and Management, who you no doubt all be very familiar with, obviously it is the institute that provides the studying membership and the tutor membership. At the current time, we're just running some tutor revalidation. So we're contacting all of our tutor members and asking them to revalidate their membership, just to make sure that all of our members are still active. So the message is to all tutors, all ILM tutors who've got a tutor membership with the Institute of Leadership and Management, to please look out for an email asking them to revalidate their membership. Obviously, if they don't revalidate, then obviously that membership will expire. So please do look out for that membership. And of course, if you have never taken advantage of the tutor membership and the vast materials that are available to you as a tutor, then please do go through to our web pages where all the information is on how to activate your tutor membership. It's a very straightforward process, and you'll get access to a vast number of resources, and obviously that really helps if you have students who've got the studying membership as well. So please do both reactivate, and if you've never activated, please go ahead and activate that membership. It's there for you free of charge. So it's part of being an ILM centre. Okay, so that brings us to the question and answer session. So thank you for staying with us. And I think Jill and Karen are going to be coming off mute. And we're going to...
Joe, shall I manage the questions? I've got them open if that would...
If you have, Karen, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, leaping from your presentation to the question box. So I'll just sort of I'll cover the one on membership at the minute. So Richard has asked a question about is tutor membership different from the standard membership? So Joe, is that one for you to continue with?
Yeah, I can embellish on that. It is slightly different because you get access to tutor resources. There is a tutor toolkit as part of that tutor membership, which will help you with a number of resources. But you also do get access to the same resources that studying members get as well. So same as the studying, but with extra access to the tutor toolkit.
Right, okay, so that's good. Anna said that she's already had that activation email and she's done it, but hasn't really had a response to say that it has been activated. So Anna, I wonder, has your access been interrupted at all, or I just wonder whether it just automatically goes through, but it sounds like there's no confirmation coming through. Do you know the process, Joe?
I don't know the exact process, but I will feed that back to the Institute. There isn't anything that's telling people thank you for reactivating. I think what will be the case is that once you've clicked through the relevant link to just confirm that you want to keep your membership active, that will be sufficient. That will just tell the system that you are still active. It's what we're looking at is those that don't click and obviously have either moved from their post and no longer an active ILM tutor. But I will feed that back. Yeah. As I think your point there, Karen, around has it been interrupted? as long as it hasn't been interrupted, I think you can sit happy. But if you do, please feel free to contact the Institute directly. They will be able to resolve anything for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Charlie just saying there that you do get a confirmation email. Charlie Lister's just saying there.
Oh yes.
So maybe
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it might just be worth checking up, and if you haven't had anything to confirm it. Okay. So moving on to apprenticeships then, we've had a question from Sheena about will we offer an assessment service for level 7? Now I've clarified with Sheena, she means apprenticeships. So I mean, I'm happy to take it if you want, or Jill, do you want to answer?
So we're still talking about the ILM assessment service for apprenticeships?
No.
No?
Right, okay.
Well, you better take it.
So apprenticeships cannot be internally assessed by the training provider. They have to go through what is called endpoint assessment, and that's delivered through independent endpoint assessment organisations. And ILM just obviously happened to be one. So, in terms of the apprenticeship, if you take forward the new senior leader apprenticeship, you will need to contract with an endpoint assessment organisation who will do the final assessment. That's how it works in the standards in the apprenticeship world now. So you can't assess it yourself. You've got to make sure that the learner is ready and is consistently demonstrating the knowledge, skills and behaviours of the standard, but an external endpoint assessment organisation will do that final exam piece, if you like, and we are one of several, yes, so the answer is yes, we will do the endpoint assessment. We already do it for the current standard, and we will be doing it for the new standard as well. In terms of the on programme, if you choose to do a qualification, then that's so part of that. And you know, we're just sort of exploring the on programme side of things. But obviously, on being successful at a qualification at level 7 on programme is not a guarantee that they will achieve the endpoint assessment. We use the analogy of, you know, learning to drive. If you're driving, you know, you're learning to drive with a driving instructor and they say you're ready, they put you in for the test, then a total stranger jumps into the car and gives you instructions, and unless you perform on that half an hour drive around the city, you won't pass. And it's the same for endpoint assessment. Sheena, I hope that answers your question. Come back to us if it doesn't. So let's roll backwards and see if there's any more. We had someone lose sound. I don't know if they came back with us. Question here on Get to Gateway. Are there any details anywhere about how long the modules take a learner to complete on Get to Gateway? We have to enter the off-the-job learning for the learner on the platform, not the learner. Is that one me again? Anyone else want to? Let me again.
You're probably the most familiar with Get to Gateway. I think. Okay. Well,
having said that, I don't know whether it sits on Get to Gateway, whether we actually have identified the guided learning hours on Get to Gateway. However, it fits into each of the units within the standard. So in Get to Gateway, you'll see leading people, managing people, communication. So if you take a look at the qualification, and even if you're not doing the qualification, that will give you an indication of the guided learning hours we would expect, because whenever we develop a qualification, we put GLH in there, guided learning hours. So take a look on there. And Tracy, I can send you a link if that's helpful. Hopefully that answers that question. One here for you, Jill, I think. What are the requirements? And we may not be able to fully answer this question here, but what are the requirements for a centre to offer the level 7? And Katie, I'm assuming we're talking about apprenticeships here. What is the criteria of the tutor and assessor to be able to deliver it?
Yeah, so the tutor would need to be, in the usual way, occupational competent. So the occupational competence is defined in, oh, Katie's just left.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Occupational competence is defined in the assessment plan. We can get back to her.
Well, we can pick, if we answer it for everybody, we can maybe she'll get the recording.
Yeah, so there is a requirement for the tutor assessor to hold a master's qualification themselves, or be qualified at level 7 themselves, and also be a qualified, an experienced senior leader. We will state that in our guidance when it comes through. There was some talk about whether or not they needed to be qualified one step higher, so that would be a PhD. So I will need to clarify that, because I'm not sure whether that's to be an independent endpoint assessor or to be the centre delivering the level 7, and usually they are the same. I think we landed on they needed to be qualified at the level rather than at the level above.
Okay.
Also ask the same question as Sheena. So Sheena said, and that was what Katie was also asking, wasn't it? So it was about whether we're doing a level 7 diploma as we have with the level 3 and 5. And the answer to that, Sheena and Katie, when you listen to this back, is that we are exploring that possibility. So obviously we do have a level 7 diploma currently, but it isn't tightly aligned at all to the KSBs. So what we're exploring at the moment is there a need for that? Is that something that our customers want us to do? And is that something that we can do? So it is in train. And there will be more news about that as soon as possible. We're actually on with it already. So thanks for that question, Sheena, and I'm sorry that we've answered 3 different questions before we got to the right one for you.
I think that's all the questions. We've got 4 minutes left. That's never happened in all of our webinars that we've run so far. So unless anyone's got a last question to ask us, I think we will we'll wish you a good.
Can you confirm? I see that you're back. Can you just confirm whether you heard the answer? It wasn't a very clear answer anyway, but I see that you're back.
Okay, maybe we can pick that up separately. So
I think if she dropped out of the wonderful or sometimes awful things about Wi-Fi we've all experienced, sometimes it just takes you out. But as you said, we will be sharing the recording. So well, that is fantastic to be able to wrap up very tightly within the hour. So that's brilliant. Oh, there you go. Jill, Katie has said that she did the majority, so thank you, Jill.
Brilliant, thank you.
So let's wrap up. Let's pull together a last few slides, or not pull together. Let's finish with our last few slides. So what you can see there is a number of key contacts. Please do reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Please do reach out to us. We're here to support, especially during these very challenging times. Please don't hesitate to drop us an email. But of course, you can also follow us on all of our various social media channels, and also please do register for our email updates. Hopefully you've all received our latest newsletter, which we sent out last week. So hopefully you've had that, and in that newsletter had a whole variety of other updates. Again, please let us know, contact us if you've not received that newsletter, and we'll make sure that that gets out to you. But that leaves me to say thank you for joining us today. And of course, thank you as always to both Jill and Karen for those fantastic updates and that brilliant guidance on everything ILM. Have a good January, as good as January is going to be for us all, and please join us for our next upcoming webinars. But thank you everyone, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, bye.
Thanks, Karen.